You wake up before your brain even fully processes that a new day has begun. Your hand is already reaching for it. The smartphone, in less than 60 seconds, you've checked 3 different apps. You have processed 50 different headlines and seen 20 different faces. You think you're just catching up with the world, but biologically, you've just triggered a massive chemical war inside your skull. This is the dopamine trap, and you are currently its primary target. We live in an era where thousands of the world's smartest engineers are paid millions of dollars to do one thing. Their only goal is to steal your attention and never give it back. They aren't just building simple social media apps. They are building digital slot machines designed to exploit your evolutionary weaknesses. Every pull to refresh on your screen is a spin of the wheel. Every infinite scroll is a calculated strike against your ancient biology. Every notification bell is a programmed trigger for your nervous system. Today, we aren't just going to talk about why you can't stop scrolling. We are going to look at the neurochemical blueprint of your very motivation. We will explore how you can reclaim your brain from the corporations that hijacked it. To fix the problem, we must first understand the molecule of more. Most people think dopamine is about pleasure, but that is a dangerous misunderstanding. Dopamine is actually about the anticipation of pleasure. It is the neural signal that tells you something important is about to happen. It is the driving force that pushed our ancestors to find food and shelter. In our ancestral past, dopamine was the signal that told us, there is fruit on that tree, go get it. It was the chemical reward for survival, designed to reward effort and persistence. But in 2026, we are facing a biological crisis: cheap dopamine. When you scroll through a short-form video feed, you are hacking this ancient system. You are getting the reward of high-intensity information without any of the effort. Your brain receives a massive spike of dopamine every 15 seconds. This creates a state of chronic hyperstimulation that your brain was never meant to handle. Your brain, in its infinite wisdom, tries to protect itself from this chemical flood. It realizes the signal is too loud, so it begins to shut down its own receptors. This process is called downregulation. Think of it like a thermostat in a house during a heat wave. If the room gets too hot, the air conditioning kicks in to cool it down. In your brain, the AC is the reduction of dopamine receptors to keep you from burning out. This creates what neuroscientists call the baseline shift. When your baseline drops, your ability to feel joy from normal life vanishes. The things that used to make you happy suddenly feel incredibly boring. Reading a book feels like a chore. A deep conversation feels like a waste of time. Working on a long-term business goal feels impossible. You haven't lost your passion or your drive. You have simply fried the sensors that allow you to feel them. Dr. Anna Lemjek, a leading psychiatrist at Stanford, describes this as the pleasure-pain balance. Imagine a seesaw located in the center of your brain. On one side is pleasure, and on the other side is pain. When you experience something pleasurable, like a new notification, the seesaw tips toward pleasure. But there is a universal law in neuroscience. Your brain demands homeostasis. It wants to keep that seesaw perfectly level at all times. So, as soon as the pleasure spike ends, your brain pushes down hard on the pain side. This is the neurological tax you pay for every cheap thrill. This is why, after 2 hours of scrolling, you don't feel happy or relaxed. Instead, you feel anxious, irritable, and slightly depressed. You are in the come-down phase, and your brain is starved for balance. The more you chase those cheap spikes, the heavier the weight on the pain side becomes. This eventually leads to a state called anhedonia. This is the point where you literally cannot feel joy from anything in the real world anymore. You become a digital shadow of yourself, moving from app to app just to feel normal. You are no longer seeking pleasure. You are just trying to escape the pain of your own baseline. But the trap goes even deeper than just your emotions. It is affecting your physical brain structure. Studies show that chronic overstimulation leads to the thinning of the prefrontal cortex. This is the part of your brain responsible for logic, impulse control, and long-term planning. When the prefrontal cortex weakens, you lose your brakes. You become more impulsive, more easily distracted, and less capable of following through on your dreams. You are essentially being lobotomized by your own devices. So, how do we break the cycle and start the neuro reset? It is not about moving to a cave and throwing your phone in the ocean. It is about recalibrating your sensors and reclaiming your sovereignty. The first step is the 90-minute rule. You must commit to 0 screens for the first 90 minutes of your day. When you check your phone immediately after waking up, you are setting a high dopamine floor. You are telling your brain that today will be a day of passive consumption. By waiting 90 minutes, you allow your natural cortisol and adenosine levels to stabilize. You protect your morning baseline at all costs. The second step is the friction method. We must make the cheap dopamine physically difficult to access. Move your social media apps to the very last page of your phone inside a hidden folder. Delete the apps that you find yourself opening unconsciously. Force yourself to use the desktop version of these platforms instead. By adding friction, you give your prefrontal cortex time to wake up and say no. The third step is to intentionally embrace the boredom. Boredom is not a problem to be solved. It is a space for your brain to heal. When you are waiting in line at the grocery store, do not pull out your phone. When you are at a red light, do not check your messages. Let your brain sit in the discomfort of silence for a moment. This is exactly how your dopamine receptors start coming back to the surface. You are training your brain that it is okay to not be stimulated every second. The fourth and most powerful step is hard dopamine first. In nature, the reward always came after the effort. You must return to this biological truth. Earn your dopamine through a difficult workout or a cold shower. Complete your most challenging work task before you allow yourself any digital entertainment. When you put effort before the reward, you strengthen your dopamine system instead of breaking it. You create a slow release of satisfaction that lasts all day. We are living in a world that is designed to keep you weak and distracted. In this environment, the ability to focus is no longer just a skill. Focus is the new IQ. Focus is a superpower. The person who can sit in a room and work for 4 hours on a single task is now a god. By reclaiming your dopamine, you aren't just feeling better. You are becoming more dangerous, more capable, and more alive than 99% of the population. You are exiting the matrix of consumption and entering the world of creation. The dopamine seesaw in your brain is always moving. Every second of every day, it is tilting one way or the other. The question you have to ask yourself tonight is simple. Are you the one controlling the weights? Or is an algorithm in Silicon Valley doing it for you? If you are tired of being a passenger in your own mind, it's time to act. The NeuroReset protocol is not just a set of rules. It is a way of life. It is a commitment to biological excellence and mental clarity. If you are ready to rebuild your mind, one synapse at a time, you are in the right place. Subscribe to the channel, turn off your notifications, and put your phone down. Your real life is waiting for you on the other side of the screen. Let's start the reset today.